If you grew up going to Hebrew school or listening to Torah classes, you probably heard the famous teaching from Pirkei Avot: know what is above you, an eye that sees, and ears that hears, and all your deeds are written in a book. For most of us, this sounds like a cosmic security camera. It's a warning to behave because the principal is always watching. But when we look at this through the lens of deep Hasidic thought and modern quantum mechanics, it becomes infinitely more profound. It's not a threat, it's a description of how the universe is wired. Let's look at the phrase, know what is above you. The Maggid of Mezritch, one of the great Hasidic masters, pointed out that the Hebrew words da, ma, lema'alah, mimach can actually be translated a completely different way. Know what is above is from you, mimach. He was teaching us that the spiritual realms aren't just sitting up there statically watching us. They are completely reactive. The eye that sees isn't passive surveillance. It means that the higher worlds are in a state of mere potential until your human actions force them into reality. If that sounds familiar, it's because it is the exact definition of the observer effect in quantum physics. In quantum mechanics, a system exists in a blurry state of endless possibilities until an interaction or observation forces it to collapse into one specific concrete reality. You are the operator of the spiritual machinery. But what about the book? The great Maharal of Prague asked a very logical question. God is almighty, and he's entirely outside of time. So he doesn't have a memory the way we do. Why would an infinite, all-knowing creator need to write things down in a book so he doesn't forget? The Maharal explains that the book isn't a memory aid for God. It is the literal dimension of reality where our actions take on permanent existence. When you do something in the physical world, the action is incredibly brief. It happens and then it's gone. But the energy and the will behind that action don't disappear. Just like spoken words vanish into thin air until they are written down with an ink on paper, the book is the mechanism that freezes our fleeting physical choices into a permanent cosmological record. It acts exactly like the holographic boundary we discussed in our last video, perfectly encoding the events of our 3D world onto a permanent surface. So who is doing the writing? In another Mishnah, Rabbi Akiva says, the ledger is open and the hand writes. It sounds impersonal, like there is some celestial bureaucrat scribbling away with a feather quill. But the Sfas Emes, brilliant 19th century Hasidic master, drops a bombshell. Your physical hand is the hand that writes. There is no angel taking notes. When you perform an action, the physical movement itself inherently generates its own spiritual vibration. The deed writes itself. In physics, this automated deterministic recording process is called unitarity. The universe doesn't decide whether or not to record an interaction. The interaction is the recording. And this leads to the ultimate feedback loop. Rabbi Akiva goes on to say that the net is spread over all the living. The interconnected net ensures that the consequences of our actions return to us, measure for measure. This isn't just an angry God handing out punishments. It is a universal law of cause and effect. Just like touching a hot stove burns your hand, it perfectly mirrors the physics concept of quantum entanglement, where particles remain intimately connected across vast distances. A tug on one string of the net in this physical world is instantly felt across the entire entangled universe. So if every action we take automatically writes itself into the spiritual fabric of the universe, what is the actual canvas it's being written on? In our next video, we're going to dive into the mind-blowing Kabbalistic concept of the Rishimu, the cosmic hard drive left over from the dawn of creation.